Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be what the narcissist was planning behind your back. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So you now know what the narcissist is capable of. You're learning more and more about who they are, why they do what they do, how they do what they do, how little they care about human beings, that they use, abuse, manipulate, trick, and trap people in relationships, that they know how to game or gain the system, that they know how to play the long game, that they know how to drag out the divorce, the custody, the division of assets, and so much more, that they need supply, that they need people to count on to regulate them, that they need access, and so much more. What you didn't know when you were in that relationship is they were planning so many things behind the scenes, behind your back, when you were in that relationship. Some of the examples I'll touch on right now. Let's say that the narcissist you're considering was your spouse. They, I can assure you, were planning the discard. Not the exact date, but probably a time frame. Meaning, perhaps it was when the kids were graduated high school, or maybe it's when they were about to go to university. Maybe it was when they were eligible to receive their 401k or pension. Maybe it was the day you were going to retire. Maybe it was as soon as you had a medical concern or a health challenge. Maybe it was when you quit your job. Maybe it was once you lost a loved one, maybe one of your family members, your parents or something. There are so many different nuances and layers upon why and or how the narcissist does what they do. What you need to know is they will do whatever they want to, whenever they want, and they don't care about the ramifications or the consequences for anybody. And that does include themselves many times. And you may say, well, why would it include them? Because think about what the narcissist does. They overplay their hand so frequently. They leave clues of the past behind in the house that you perhaps are in or were in. They break relationships and act like they didn't do anything wrong at all. They misdirect people away from the reality of who they are and what they had done. What the narcissist wants to do is to get as much attention from people, which is known as supply, as they can. And the narcissist needs negative or positive supply. You don't need negative anything, but that's all the narcissist did when you were with them. They dumped drama. They dumped confusion and chaos into you. And they took whatever they could. And once they got whatever they wanted, that's when they executed the plan, which most likely was the discard. Now, the discard you were not prepared for. You couldn't be prepared for, because if you were, then you would have known that that person was toxic, maybe even a narcissist, and you probably wouldn't have entered a relationship with them. On top of that, if you knew there was such thing as a discard, you could have seen the signs and prepared for it, and you could have removed yourself from that relationship, most likely a lot earlier. That's not what happened. What happened was, when you were in the relationship, you were trying to fix an unfixable relationship. You were trying to put all the fires out that the narcissist was starting intentionally, and you were making excuses for them. You were not trusting your instincts or trusting your intuition. You were not paying attention to red flags. You were ignoring the truth, is what you were doing. Now, was it your fault? No, it wasn't. I was in the same cycle that you were in. We didn't know this because we weren't taught it. We weren't educated on this properly. We thought that if a person who looked similar to us, which means they spoke the same language and they could use their charm and their appeal and their eyes and their wisdom, or not wisdom from the narcissist, their intelligence, that they were similar to us, that they cared about us. Well, you now know that very few people are who they appear to be on this planet called Earth. And at the top of that list is certainly the narcissist. The narcissist is a predator. They are not who you thought they are. They are who they really are, which is a wolf in sheep's clothing. And they had been working on plans behind the scenes and behind your back from the very beginning when you met them. In the beginning, let's say that let's go back into the romantic relationship for a minute. In the beginning, you probably were in awe of how amazing that person was. They were the yin to your yang, or your soulmate, or they completed you, and you had the same astrological sign or whatever it was, and you were, well, this was all smoke and mirrors. The narcissist knew what you were falling for. They knew if you believed in ABC or you liked ABC or one of your hobbies was ABC. All they had to do was learn a little bit about those things, assimilate themselves with you, take a couple classes, read a few books, watch some videos. Next thing you know, you think that they're on the same page as you. That's not the truth. The truth is the narcissist is a shapeshifter, and they will slither off onto any direction they want to get whatever they want whenever they want it. And once they get what they want, they don't want it, but they don't want someone else to have it, so they try to trap that person and keep them stuck in what is known as the narcissistic fog or the trauma bond, or to keep you in the devaluation stage. All three are unique to themselves yet interchangeable. If you've been through the cycle, you know what I'm talking about. I can tell you right now, if you've been in the cycle, I can finish your sentence in a second. My hope, unfortunately, is that when you heal, you can finish my sentence. I wish you didn't have to go through this. There was no other way. I, at one point, was thinking, why me? I can't believe, how was I targeted? I'm a good person. I'm an empath. Well, now I know. It took me a while to figure it out, but when I did, I put two and two together and figured out that many people will play on your heartstrings. Many people have plans that they will never tell you about. I've touched on one, which was the romantic relationship. Another one, say the boss. I talk about this frequently. Let's say your boss or coworker is the narcissist or a toxic person. Well, when you went to work, let's say it's a 9-to-5 job, you were working and earning money. Great, I understand it. When you were doing that, you probably thought you were committed to that organization and that the organization was committed to you. Maybe that was true in the past. Maybe it's true right now. I can't tell you. What I can tell you, if you were working with a toxic person, they were trying to get everything out of you and pay you the least amount of money, have you not have a social life, have you not have your weekends free. They wanted to blow up any birthday you had or any holiday or be a Scrooge, whatever you want to call it, and that because they knew who you were, they knew you needed your job, and they knew that you would get burned out or you would go to HR or you would get fired, but one way or the other, they would take the best of you and then they would replace you for somebody who possibly was younger, who wouldn't be earning as much money as you and would be naive just like you were, and the cycle would continue with a new person. This is what the narcissist does. I've just given you two examples. Now here are some deeper examples with the person you're considering. The plans that they were making behind your back included this: how to take as much money from you as they possibly could. And you may say, well, they didn't really take much money. Well, if they took $1 and tried their best to act like that they weren't taking it, or they hid money from you, or told you that the grocery bill was $300 when it was only $112 and they pocketed $188, well then they're taking from you. They're a thief. They're a criminal. They were stealing. That's just one microcosm of how many different ways they steal money. But remember, what does the narcissist love more than money? They love your money more than money. And so what they were planning behind the scenes, I can assure you, is they were stockpiling up their money. They were squirreling it away, if you will. They were using your money, burning through your money, having you pay for more and more of their needs or of their extended or of their family members, your extended family members. In other words, maybe their siblings or their sisters or their brothers or their mom, whoever, or their dad, can't tell you. And then they would be blowing through your money. Now, what would happen there? Let's say that you were earning X number of dollars per year and you were giving money, it was being siphoned from you by this narcissist. Let's say it was your spouse, who knows? Maybe it was your adult child, I can't tell you. But then the more money you were earning, the less money you had, the more they wanted. And you essentially were the giving tree. Now something had to give, something had to break there. And what happened? You probably cut off the money train, or you lost your job, or you didn't have any more money to give, or they punished you because you weren't doing what you used to be doing. Any way you cut it, money is a big thing that the narcissist had plans for. Another thing that the narcissist was planning behind your back was the new supply. Now I talk about the new supply not as often as I could, but the new supply is one of three people. They're either a clean slate like you were, they are a recycled source of supply, or they're a toxic person. But the new supply was already lined up before that discard took place. And you may think now, because you're getting clear in your mind, oh my gosh, Andrew's right, the new supply was lined up. It was the trainer at the gym. It was the person who was recording the videos for the narcissist in their studio. It was the person that they were taking classes with, wink, wink. It was the person they were going on bike rides with. It was my coworker at a job I used to have, wink, wink. The new supply knew what was going on. They were watching your life implode. They were watching you fall apart. They were thinking that they were getting everything over on you and that they were getting so close with your spouse and that they were to live happily ever after, the two of them, after your relationship ended with the narcissist. Well, funny thing happened along the way. Did your relationship end? It probably did. You probably did get discarded. And the new supply, who was smug and laughing it up, saying, yep, this is just great. I sit back here and I'm going to get in the relationship with your spouse or whoever it is, and you'll never know about it because you're not going to probably exist, or you'll be so broken you won't even know. Well, not so fast, new supply, because you're getting exactly what you wanted, which is a toxic relationship. And by now you probably were discarded yourself. Or maybe you turned out to be twice as toxic as the person's spouse, and maybe they dumped you or you dumped them. I can't tell you. Any way you cut it, the narcissist had plans, and they were making plans behind your back for your demise. So I talked about money, talked about new supply. Think about another one. How many times did you relocate when you were with the narcissist? You probably moved multiple times. Maybe different houses in the same city, maybe different houses in the same state, maybe different apartments all over the country. Maybe you moved different countries, can't tell you. But why do you think the narcissist would want you to keep relocating? It's because you couldn't put roots down. You couldn't build a foundation. You weren't getting support. And they were making you spin your wheels by packing up boxes, moving halfway across the country, unpacking boxes, buying carpets, buying lamps, buying pillowcases, figuring out where the store is, how to get gas and all those things. And maybe after a few months, maybe a year or two, they would say, we need a bigger house. Or I got a job somewhere else, and we have to move, or I want to be closer to my brother or sister or my parents. Anyway, you cut it, because you were in love, you were doing what they wanted you to do. Because again, you need to remember, the narcissist never loved you. They love nobody. They don't even know what love is. They know how to abuse it and manipulate it, but they don't know what it is because they can't feel it. They also have no empathy. But what they can do is they can misdirect people that do fall in love with them or do love them. And that's what they were doing with you. So when you were relocating, you were spinning your wheels thinking, okay, this is going to be the last time we move. This is going to be the final time we move. I'm so excited about, we're finally going here. Well, you probably were moving further and further away from your support system. Every time you moved, it was taking a little slice or a chunk out of you because you were getting exhausted, because some of the most challenging experiences are moving, starting a new job, and getting married. I believe is the third one, something like that. But as I shared, behind the scenes, the narcissist was doing what they wanted. They were moving you around like a pawn on a chessboard, getting you wherever they wanted to get you, and eventually they were hoping to call checkmate on your life. Well, that's not what happened. It did happen with many people before you, when you were before you met the narcissist, because those people, either A, they're not around, B, they didn't get the wisdom, or C, they're still stuck in the trauma bond or the narcissistic fog. You're different. When you got the wisdom, you began to heal. You went no contact and you blocked that person, and you began to elevate and ascend. And was it challenging? Yes. Was it difficult? Yes. Was it something you wanted to go through? Absolutely not. But this is the relationship you need to heal from. Nobody can do it for you. So what did you do? You got stronger. As you got stronger, the narcissist got weaker. As they got weaker, you began to see how the plans that they were creating behind the scenes were unfolding, and that you were literally being moved, literally, figuratively, emotionally, financially, and spiritually, into a corner. And they were trying their best to box you in so you would never escape, because they had done this before. And play this part of the video and played it a few times. But when you were boxed in that corner and the discard happened, or you entered it, however it ended, you did something that almost, if not everyone else before you hadn't done. You began to work on yourself. And so eventually what you did is you reached a place called the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference, which is all behind me. And that's where you are. If you haven't arrived there yet, you keep working towards getting there, because when you get there, it's the best view you've ever seen on your in your life. But when you get there, then you call checkmate on the narcissist. To you, life isn't a game. To you, life is meant to be enjoyed, cherished, relished, honored, celebrated, and experienced. To the narcissist, life is a zero-sum game. They want to destroy as many lives as they possibly can. They want to take up as much time as they can. They want to steal as much money, energy, and broken hearts as they possibly can. They always want what they don't have, and when they get what they don't have, they don't want it any longer. They use people like Barbie dolls or Ken dolls. Once they play with them and get them hooked on them, meaning get the dolls or the people hooked on the narcissist, then they put them in the closet on a shelf, and they lock that closet door, and that person who was me, and probably was you, or maybe even is you right now, you don't realize it, but you're sitting next to dozens of other people in the dark. That's called the narcissistic fog. But what did you do? You picked the lock, You unlocked that door and you crept out and you got away. When I say crept out, I didn't mean crept out like the narcissist, like how they slither. I mean, you silently broke the chains, the emotional, the financial, the physical, and the spiritual chains that were around you. And then you left that door open, hopefully for other people to follow your path. I am sure most, if not all, those people didn't follow your path because they have to figure it out for themselves. But then as you left that Barbie doll or Ken doll closet, you healed and you began to really get clear in your mind. And then you figured out, oh my gosh, the narcissist had this plan the whole time. They were hiding money from the stock dividends. They were hiding money in different states. They were buying crypto. They were buying gold. They were buying silver. They were buying properties. They were giving their brothers and sisters monies or pieces of the organization or business that they had a part of. They were claiming that they didn't have any money, that they were broke. They were gaming the system, doing whatever they could possibly to paint a picture that you were the villain, you were the bad person, and that they were the one that was being abused. This was all by design at the hands of the feeble mind of the narcissist, at the toxic mind of the narcissist. These people, i.e. the toxic people, they watch so many movies, so many dramas, thrillers, horrors, actions, suspenses, and whatever the other movies are, and they get ideas from these movies and they implement them in their real life. And you may say, that's a little rough. It's true. This is where these people get their ideas from, because the narcissist doesn't have originality. They steal it from other avenues, and they stole whatever they could from you. This is why they get ideas from watching social media or watching how other people blow up other people's lives. And this is why the loop of manipulation just continues to go around and around and around in a loop. And the one common denominator, the one constant in that loop is the narcissist. It's not you. It was never you. So what the narcissist was planning behind your back, number one, it was to take everything from you they could. Number two, it was your demise. Number three, it was to isolate you. Number four, it was to break you. Number five, it was so you would never figure it out. Number six, it was so you would stay stuck pining for them or blaming yourself. Number seven, it was so that you would never, ever, ever improve and live an abundant life. And number eight, it was so that you would be not one of the people that got away, that you would be one of the people who would be stuck in that mental abuse category, that mental abuse avenue, which is called the narcissistic fog. I lived there. I was there for years. It's not a good place to be. When you get out, you need to stay out, which is why you need to batten down the hatches, close any avenue of communication with toxicity, go no contact, and heal properly. But you must understand something. Whereas when you were in the relationship, you were transparent, you were upfront, you were honest, you were committed, and you were together. You were trying to be together with somebody. That other person you're considering, they were backstabbing you, they were plotting, they were planning, they were grooming, they were tricking, they were trapping, they were manipulating, they were misdirecting, and they were doing whatever they could to take anything they possibly could from you. That's what these people do, and that's what they're doing right now. That's why you need to get as far away from them as fast as you possibly can and heal properly. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Understand a few things. The narcissist was planning behind your back. They were saying negative things about you. They were instilling the smear campaign. They were saying that you were the abuser. You were the person who was not doing what we're supposed to be doing. You're the person who was creating all the drama and problems in the house. You're the person who wasn't cooking, cleaning, buying things. You weren't available. You weren't doing anything that was productive. The truth of the matter is, that's projection. The narcissist was doing absolutely nothing to benefit you and nothing to benefit that relationship. They sold you a bill of goods. They wanted you doing as much as you possibly could and selling you a promise of something that would never, ever take place. The narcissists knew this, they know it now, and they've always known that they're envious, they're jealous, they're hollow, they're shallow, and they have a bottomless pit within them that can never be filled, it can never be satiated for any length of time, which is why they are loyal to nobody, they don't care about anybody, they're always planning and plotting behind the scenes with everybody they encounter. Because the narcissist wants what they can't have, and they want what other people have, which is why they enjoy and relish and really, really love destroying people's lives. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye, you guys. The weather's turning great here.